Okay, welcome back everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that article. So you should now be familiar with Peppa Pig. So it was created in 2004 in the UK as a children's show. And since then, in the last 20 years, it has almost become a cult classic. So children around the world love it, parents love it. There are fans that don't even have children that just think that Peppa Pig is very cute. And so these days, even though Peppa Pig is created for children, there's kind of a controversy brewing whereby some children have noticed that Peppa is a little bit unruly or rude or impatient or just doesn't really listen to her parents. And so those are the traits that parents themselves kind of want to eradicate from their children. And so because Peppa is quite naughty, there have been some cases where small children have imitated her. One thing in particular, she seems to like fat shaming her dad because he is a pot-bellied pig. She likes making comments about his stomach. And unfortunately for one mother, this has led to a very embarrassing incident whereby her young child made a comment about the size of her neighboring child's stomach, and it led to a very embarrassing incident for everyone involved. And the mom is blaming Peppa for shaming her father and then causing her child to then shame another person. And so the wider discussion has led to, should there be more control about what is happening in children's cartoons and the things that children listen to, and whether it's the parents' responsibility to kind of take control of what their children are listening to, what they're watching. And so while there are many people that think this is not a big deal, if you've ever spent time with a child, you will know that they are impatient. And they often don't think about what they say before they say it. And then other people think that maybe the parents should turn it into a learning opportunity by watching Peppa with their children and saying, oh, Peppa was a little bit rude there, don't you think? And asking them questions like that to turn it into an enjoyable experience for everyone, and maybe encourage the children not to be rude to their poor neighbors by calling them a potbelly. So on that vein of thought, do you think that Peppa Pig is appropriate for young children?
Despite my dislike for the show, I do think that it is beneficial for kids. Most of the themes are child friendly. All of it is child friendly, and it does portray children in a realistic manner. And how you mentioned, some parents, they think that it is a responsibility for the parent of the child to talk about the negative or the bad behaviors that Peppa Pig is demonstrating. And yeah, I mean, they're probably acting, the children would act out just naturally, but they're trying to blame it on Peppa Pig. I mean, she may not be my favorite for other reasons, but I don't think it's Peppa Pig's fault. Justice for Peppa Pig.
Yeah, she's innocent, I think.
Yeah. What do you think?
When I was younger, like you said, I was watching The Simpsons, which I think is far more cause for concern than Peppa Pig, because of what Bart says. He's often much more rude than Peppa will ever be, I'm sure. Right. So yeah, I think it's a good idea for kids. It's very, very child friendly, and I think it gives an accurate portrayal of family life. Right. I think little children often say mean things to their parents, and I'm sure that the parents of the children watching this show also know that too. They just want to blame Peppa, even though she's innocent. So do you think that stricter rules should be made about what is shown in children's content, like cartoons?
I do think they should have some stricter rules for these shows. The reason being is that I can understand that if you already trust that a cartoon is mostly safe for children, but so let's say the parents leave the child because they feel they can trust that cartoon, but then some things come out on it that they're not maybe that child friendly, they might feel like, oh, I trusted you, but then you you showed things that are not that appropriate or what they deem inappropriate. Though I think there should be some guidelines so that the parents can see like, okay, these are some topics that may or may not be covered, right? And then they can make their decision on if they allow their children to watch that or not. How about you?
I think that maybe TV should be like movies, whereby they have like an age rating. So maybe children under 6 shouldn't watch Peppa because maybe they will pick up like silly words or like the rude things that she says, and then different rules for different cartoons. But usually that's kind of dependent on the time of the day that they are shown. So I think for me, as long as they don't include swear words or like acts of violence that could encourage a child to like start hitting their brother or sister, then I think that it's okay. But I agree with you. They should be trusted to be alone with those cartoons. Okay, so we hope that you enjoyed learning about Peppa Pig today. Take a look at the vocabulary and try to use them in your everyday life if you can. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Cheeky.
Cheeky.
Contingent.
Contingent.
Endear.
Endear.
Tendency.
Tendency.
Take into account.
Take into account.